was in Tahrir Square for the revolution. And that was the greatest story I've ever covered, I will tell you. I became a journalist in 1978, and that is the greatest story I ever covered. And the reason it was the greatest story is that I came home and people said, what was it like? I said it was actually the most apolitical political event I've ever covered. Because it was actually about the deepest human things. It was about dignity. A number of Egyptians who said to me, I was ashamed to show my Egyptian passport. Think about that. That any of us should be ashamed, because they're living in a flat world and they know how far behind they are. It was about dignity. It was about justice. It was about the quest for the tools and the freedom to realize my full potential. And that's where the frustration was there. The inability to even get the tools or the opportunity to realize their full potential. Thank God, I don't think that's true in this country. Not at the acute level it was there. So kind of at a macro point of view, that is a really big difference. That we aren't stifled in that way. You have a good idea today, there's a good chance if it's good, you will find the money. You can pursue it. They couldn't. And that's why, what actually happened there was, it really is something almost best compared to something in the natural world. It was like a volcanic eruption. It's a cliche, but it really was. It was this huge just, I am somebody. Really was what it was about. And it had just enough force to blow the lid up, but not off. So the lid is still there. It's the Egyptian army, the ancien regime, the guys beating people up in the streets. And what happened in that opening is that the most organized force in the society, the Muslim Brotherhood, came in to the opening. But if they don't satisfy the longings of all those young people, they are going to get blown away, just as much. So it's going to be a great drama that unfolds. I think now, a year and a half into it, there's sort of two things that really come to my mind of what needs to happen. One is, if you can sometimes, if you think of history or countries as tilted, some are tilted that way, some that way, some that way. So think of the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union was a country that was really tilted like that, we know. And what the democracy revolution there did, Gorbachev, Shevardnadze, the help of the West, was kind of gave it a positive slope. Now, I would tell you this positive slope today is called Putinism. Under a microscope, don't get me wrong, this is corrupt, it's authoritarian. In fact, under a microscope, it looks like that. But it's like an airplane that's flying across the sky. If you're in the airplane, you feel all the turbulence. But if you're sitting on the ground, you'd say, hey, that country has a positive slope. What do I mean by that? Because I think the real agent of change happens in this delta, and it takes 9 months and 21 years. It's called a generation. So right now in Russia, in Putin's Russia, if you go there, it's true, don't ask to be president. But short of that, you can read what you want, travel where you want, think what you want, got a great startup community going. Someone referred to their attempt to have a Silicon Valley. There's a lot happening. It is not the Soviet Union. And a new generation is coming of age there, this 9 months and 21 years. It's actually kind of interesting. The Russian democracy movement began in 1990. The first protests against Putin happened in 2011, 9 months and 21 years to the day. So what is my hope for the Arab Spring? Keep the slope positive. I know it's not going to have perfect government right now. It may be partly Islamist, that's fine, as long as they look more like Turkey than Saudi Arabia, basically. Keep the slope positive so that 9 months and 21 years can come of age, interact with the world, realize their full potential. Because, if you sort of add it all up, what I really believe is that there's no more developed and developing countries anymore. That's like really what I call round world. That's over. In a flat world, there's no there and there's no here. There's no near and there's no far. There's just good, better, and best. Because in a flat world, I can get good, better, and best anywhere. And you want to make sure you're at least good, if not better and best. And that means, I think there are just going to be two kind of countries in the world going forward. HIEs and LIEs. High imagination enabling countries and low imagination enabling countries. Because if I've just got the spark of an idea now, that's what I saw in Jordan. If I've just got the spark now, as an American, man, I can go to I can go to Delta in Taiwan. They'll design that for me. Skip over to Alibaba and Hangzhou. Jack Ma will get me a cheap Chinese manufacturer for that. Jump up to Amazon.com. Jeff Bezos will do my fulfillment and delivery. Craigslist will get me an accountant, and Freelancer.com will get me the logo for under $20. The only thing they can't get me is that. The one great advantage we still have is we still nurture and enable this. I see it everywhere here. We should be pressing that advantage to the hilt, designing the public policy to go with that and to nurture it. That's not what we're doing, you know. We're not a low imagination enabling country, and you don't want to be that. So what is exciting about the Arab world today is I see the chance for them to move from LIEs to HIEs. That's what you see in Jordan today. It's going to be a struggle. It's going to be generational. It's going to take a long time. Lord knows, though, I've been criticized for my optimism about that revolution. I wouldn't take a word back. I'm rooting for them.
Cambiar vidas,
Change lives.
change organizations,
Change
दुनिया में बदलाव.
Change the world.